We have the man of the hour here, meteorologist Craig Muller. He's shaking his head right there, Olivia. Olivia and I, Sarah and I, we've all been listening to you over the course of the days, hoping that the forecast might change a little bit for this weekend, but it seems like we really are still looking at snow coming up on this weekend.
We've got very high confidence we're going to get hit with a significant winter storm. Now, how much snow you see, that's going to still be determined. Whether you see any ice or sleet or mix, who sees a little more rain, all that stuff's going to get pinned down as we go over the next few days. But let's take a look at what we're looking at this morning with our winter storm headlines. And the first thing I want to let you know is that we do have increasing confidence that this is going to be a thing. All right, I felt pretty confident about it yesterday. That's why I called a weather impact alert for this weekend, Saturday into Sunday. Some things can and likely will change a little bit, but the overall idea that all of the models continue to point with increasing confidence to a winter event, that is still a thing for our region. Heavy snow is likely, but some ice, some mix, and some rain for other areas, that's all in the mix as well. All going to be watching the track and timing of this developing system because that's going to likely fluctuate. So the forecast will modify a little bit as well. Take a look at this graphic, and I love that we have this up full. I want you to get a good look at that. Okay, I'll talk over what you're seeing. The chances and what this is an ensemble run from the European model, the GFS, and the Euro's AI ensemble. All right, and what it's doing is it takes the model, the global model that we typically use, and it runs it with a bunch of little tiny variations, slightly adjusting this parameter or that parameter. It says, okay, how many times do we see an inch or more of snow for Norfolk and the immediate Hampton Roads area? And all those models say basically 100% of those models all produce some snow, an inch or more, all right? So the idea that we're not going to see any snow, that doesn't seem like it's even on the table at this point looking at the models. 3 inches or more, wow, still really likely. 90% with the Euro, 70% with the GFS. Euro AI saying 100% chance we're going to see 3 inches. Okay, Euro, I hear you. We'll see there, Mr. Euro AI. But anyway, very likely we see at least 3 inches. 6 inches or more, still a better than 50% chance with the Euro and the GFS. The Euro AI going 80%. That is a big snowfall for Hampton Roads. And could we see over a foot of snow? We've seen some of these types of snowfalls before. It's not unheard of, but we don't get these a lot. So over a 12-inch snowfall, 10% chance with the Euro ensembles, a 20% chance with GFS, and Euro AI saying 40%.
So basically, Craig, if I am listening to you correctly and I'm looking at these graphs correctly, right, it's less a question of if it will snow. It's turning more into a question of how much it will snow and where exactly it will hit and what time.
How much and who's going to get the heaviest amount. So this is all going to get pinned down. And again, these numbers may trend down a little bit. Things can change. That's why, again, with full transparency, I want to show you what our weather team is looking at and leaning into so you can adjust your thinking and your plans for what may happen over the weekend, all right? These are not forecasts. They are predictions or projections by the storms. It's data output that we use to kind of help form our projections and predictions that we put out there. Again, this is the snow potential from these models, the GFS and the Euro, and you can see both of them really producing a lot of snow over parts of the area. Now, here's the deal. You look at those two side by side, Eugene, and what similarities do you see and what things do you think are a little different?
So there are obviously some really big jumps in the northern portion of the Commonwealth there. I can see it's much more obviously for the GFS than the Euro. But I'm looking here locally in our region based upon what we're saying. According to this, at the very least, pretty much everywhere at least has double digits.
Many areas. Now, what's interesting, and this wasn't a gotcha type of question, I just think this is a great opportunity for those of you maybe watching from home, or maybe you're out on the go and you found us here on Live Impact News. Let me show you here. As a meteorologist looking at this, I go, okay, two things. I'm not even worried about the numbers at this point. First glance is, where's the heaviest snow? Okay, western half of the area. North and west, you see those higher amounts. Where are the lighter amounts of snow? Down towards Kill Level Hills, the Outer Banks. You see both the Euro and the GFS with 1.6, 1.8 inches, very similar. Then a big jump around Elizabeth City, significant snow, Virginia Beach. It's interesting, both models project 10.2 inches for Chesapeake.
Yeah.
It's kind of rare that they actually line up like that. But anyway, it gives you a feel, lighter at the Outer Banks, heavier farther inland and north. So that's one thing to take away. Then, as you mentioned, we take a look at the actual specific numbers and you go, hey, this is potentially significant. That's a snow potential. I do anticipate some rain and some mixed precipitation knocking those totals down a little bit from what we see. So again, not a forecast, but model output that we use to get a feel and how we describe what's going to happen. Now you take a look at the European model's ice potential, and you can see that there is some potential for some ice down around Ahoskie, maybe out towards Franklin, kind of mixing in. Could be sleet, maybe a little freezing rain if we get a warmer mid-level, and again, you've got that very cold level down at the surface. So you get rain that falls into the sub-freezing temperatures, you can get some freezing or some ice on contact. Take a look, and I'm just going to pull this down, and I don't have numbers on this projection, but look at the Euro's ice potential down to the south, and let me see if I can pull back out here a little bit. This is, again, not a map that I was setting up for us to display here. I'm doing this on the fly. That's why you don't see all the state lines, but you can see some potential for significant amounts of icing through this period as warm air from the Gulf overrides a very low-level freezing pool of air. So parts of the southeast, South Carolina, North Carolina, back into Georgia, maybe portions of Louisiana, northern Louisiana, could be seeing some ice. And I know, Eugene, from talking to you with your friends and family, that's always a concern down that way.
Oh, it's a major concern. I just talked to my mom yesterday. She is in Louisiana, spending some time with my grandmother and others, and I can tell you, snow, freezing, anything of that nature for them in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, that's a problem. That's not something that they're used to. Forget temperature changes. Right. I mean, they think 50 degrees is cold, but just being able to get around, navigating for my entire family. My dad's there. Everybody's there. It would make things tough.
I want to make a point here, Eugene, that you bring up.
Yeah.
Okay, down south, and that includes portions of our viewing area right here, southeast Virginia, northeast North Carolina. Obviously, we don't get a ton of wintry precip, so it's always a bit of a challenge for some. Ice, I don't care how good you are or how good you think you are. Okay, or what kind of a vehicle you drive. I've got a Dodge Ram, 1500, and it's, four-wheel drive, and it's very stable. It's a great truck. But on ice, even good vehicles with great tires on us, it's a game changer. And I think down, especially across portions of the Deep South, where they don't always have the ways to mitigate that or to deal with the ice, it becomes a bigger issue. So just something to think about here in Hampton Roads, too. If we do get some ice, you need to be extra cautious.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really what ends up getting people, too, right? Not even on the big snow days, which this could potentially be what we're looking at it. But like you said, most people, they have faith in their own driving and their way of getting around. And I really hope people are paying attention to the forecast leading into it, because whatever plans you have will probably be adjusted based upon what can happen on the weekend.
Yeah, and you think about it, even if you're really good on the ice, and
which I
you've
think
got
I am personally.
Yeah, well, everybody does. It's kind of like you're driving the perfect highway speed. People that go past you are maniacs, and people that are going slower than you are, come on, what are you doing here? Go faster, right? When it comes to driving on ice, even if you're great on the ice, that doesn't account for the other people that may be out there that have no idea what's going on. So, again, depending on how things play out, you may want to adjust a little bit. Take a look at the outlook with the GFS. I want to show you how things move in. One significant change from yesterday, Eugene, still bringing the snow, but you'll notice yesterday morning we had snow in here in the mid-morning. Now it's delayed until mid-afternoon or even late afternoon into the evening. So that's a delay, where I was thinking, oh, man, we're going to be busy Saturday and Sunday morning. Now it looks like Saturday morning is going to be fine. Setting up, our weather team will cover this, obviously as soon as the stuff comes in, we're all over it and the forecast leading up to it. But I expect extended weather coverage from our 13 News Now weather team Saturday night into Sunday. We'll be busy Sunday morning tracking this. Some rain coming in over eastern North Carolina and maybe pushing up into southern Virginia Beach with the GFS.
I have a question, Craig, and I'm just going to throw it out. You're the science guy, not me. But does the time in which the snow or this forecast could hit, could it impact the amount of snow we get? For instance, if it's right now tracked, as you said, to come in more so Sunday morning, but the time gets pushed back one way or the other, will that potentially impact the amount of snow we could or could not see?
So great question, Eugene. In this case, the cold air is going to be in place. I'm not really worried about, the daytime heating is going to have it warm enough we don't have to worry about snow, or it's going to be more rain because it's starting in the afternoon or something like that. Cold air is going to be there. What is going to be interesting is to see the duration. So, if we have a later start and it's still exiting late Sunday afternoon, if you go for, say, 18 hours versus a full 24 hours or more, whatever the duration is, obviously the longer it snows, the more opportunity you have for greater amounts. But in this case, it looks like later start, maybe later finish. So we're just kind of moving the timeline around. So to answer your question, sometimes it can, Eugene. In this case, it's really about pinning down the duration and then seeing how intense the snowfall is when it falls. Not so much, it's a later start, so it's going to be a lot warmer during the afternoon or whatever. In this case, I still think we're looking at snow, then some mix, maybe a transition to rain, and then look at how it pivots here, the GFS. You can see how it changes back over to snow, and eventually that pushes off the coast by late Sunday night, early Monday, and then we're drier Monday. That's the GFS. Take a look at the Euro. Some showers here Friday late as we go through the evening hours. A little bit of a break. Saturday morning looking good. Here you go. Maybe a couple flurries there Saturday midday, but the Euro's got that snow down to the south, even through 6 o'clock. I mean, that's a big difference there. Now you can see that Euro fills in overnight, and you still have many hours, several hours of moderate to heavier snow, so that's still going to add up. Then you see that rain coming. Now the Euro tracks that low a little farther to the north. You see those circles just offshore. I'm going to just go ahead and pick up my pointer here so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. Right in here, this area here. That's the area of low pressure tracking along. That is farther north. The GFS model had it farther south. As it comes farther north, you'll notice how we get more of the rain pushing in along the coast. Also, you see how these yellow lines are all very close together. One of the things I was talking to our general manager, Brian Gregory, who is absolutely, he's like, not just a weather nut, but he is like the sixth meteorologist on our team.
Yes.
He's that much of an enthusiast, and he follows that in aviation.
Oh, he is on
very, very closely. But we were talking, the winds coming around the backside of the system, that may be an issue overnight Sunday night into Monday as well. All that pink indicating some potential for mix or freezing rain or sleet. Snow farther to the north. Notice a heavy snow up through the D.C. metro up towards Baltimore. Dover back over into Pennsylvania and New Jersey there. You see this thing tracking along. Let me see if I can switch up and just pull the map a little bit and see if we can show you some of this. Look at that heavy snow off there to the north. So this isn't just a Hampton Roads thing. Obviously, we've been focusing a lot on us, but areas off to the north likely to see some wind, some snow, and blustery conditions. Here's the bottom line, guys. Over the weekend, all the models producing significant winter storm for the Mid-Atlantic. Okay, so still a lot of confidence here. The exact storm track, as I just showed you, the Euro a little farther north, GFS a little farther south. That's going to shift around where the heaviest snow is, possible ice, maybe more rain in the mix. Could be a very big storm, but there's still time for things to change, so we need folks to continue checking back. So very important here over the coming days. All right, we're going to go ahead and take a look here very quickly. You can see the southeast U.S. Not sure why I'm looking at that right now on the map, because what I will tell you is the radar is quiet all across the country. What I'm going to do is get into our forecast here and just give you that. Again, highs today expected to reach the upper 30s, and we're going to see a lot of sunshine. Tonight's lows down into the mid-20s. Will be in the teens for some areas far inland. Light winds, mainly clear tomorrow. 46, so a little bit milder. It gets warmer on Thursday, and then back down on Friday into the mid-40s, and then the chillier air Saturday and Sunday. I've said it. I'll I'll say it again, and you'll hear it more and more from our team. Keep checking back. Later this afternoon, right here on Live Impact News, we'll have our afternoon Mets updating you on more model changes. Tim Pandagis will have you updated with your forecast along with Evan. You'll be hearing more from Taylor and Hunter as the week progresses as well. Of course, I'll be here with you each and every morning, keeping a close eye of things.
And, we appreciate you so much, Craig, because here's the thing. I've been reading people's comments on social media. Normally, I don't do that type of thing all the time. But, I found it interesting. A lot of people are, they have questions about the forecast, and they're trying to make their plans.
Sure.
I know firsthand a major event where they're monitoring to see if they're going to continue to have it this weekend. And you get people who will often be critical because things adjust over the days. But again, it goes to what you guys are doing. You're tracking the science. Sure. The models can change throughout the time, and you're going through that process day after day.
They can, and they do. And I don't put up those model projections where you see some of the huge numbers to freak people out. I panic? Not at all, okay? What I'm doing, and what I hope you as a viewer, or a news consumer, appreciate, is full transparency. Hey, This is what the model suggests this morning. I'm not telling you rush out, get bread, get water, get milk, get whatever you need right now. What I'm saying is, hey, if these models are correct, we're going to have a handful to deal with this weekend, all right? If they change, we'll let you know that too. But isn't it better that we give you a look at what the very best forecast guidance is suggesting now, rather than just leave it to chance and all of a sudden Friday or Saturday you're scrambling when the picture is fully clear and you never heard anything about it? That's our thinking, and that's what we'll continue to do. And again, I think most folks in this age now, with more advanced technology, people can access a lot of this stuff. I think folks, by and by, the feedback I get, they're appreciating it. And if people are like, oh, you guys are panicking. No, we're not. Listen to what we're saying. We're just saying this is how things look this morning.
Prepare, not scare.
You got it, buddy.
That's really what it boils down to. And again, to the work that you guys are doing, you caught this really, really early. When we came in yesterday, it was like the first thing that you mentioned is like, okay, we need to make sure people know about this. And it's cool from my vantage point, not being a meteorologist, seeing how things progress throughout the week as we're getting closer and closer and seeing what these models are kind of doing. And I'll just give a humble brag to see how things that you have predicted are still coming into play here on the weekend.
I appreciate it. I will tell you, the science has gotten so much better.
Yeah.
The ability to communicate. People always talk about, what's the greatest advancements in weather? And I know we're going to move on with the rest of the news. But the greatest advancements in weather haven't been just satellite or radar, all these things. It's been the ability to communicate faster. When we first started studying weather, you could take an instrument and measure the temperature or the pressure, but there was no way to get all of that information together and figure out what was going to happen next. Now, in this day and age, everybody can see we've got all this amazing computing stuff, and the forecast will keep getting better. So thank you, guys. Keep checking back, and we'll keep you updated.
No, thank you very much, Craig. We appreciate it. And as he said, you want to make sure that you are locked in and following with all of the updates that can come through. Easy way to do that, you can download this app, 13 News Now Plus, if you're not watching us live through it and you're watching us on YouTube. You can also download our app on your phone, which is the 13 News Now mobile app. You can follow us on air at any time on 13 News Now here, and, of course, 13newsnow.com. Craig and our team of meteorologists, they are phenomenal. They're great about getting updates out there. And, of course, Craig, I got to plug your show daily, Monday through Friday from 9 until 9:30, The Weather Desk. So it's the Craig Show in the morning. It's the Craig Show. So, Craig, we appreciate you, and we'll have you back hopefully tomorrow as well, seeing how the models are progressing as we get closer and closer to the weekend.